Kia ora, Ben, Tausif and Snehal and anyone watching from 11MCA. This is part 2 of the cows grazing in the paddocks practice task. So you really need to have watched part 1 first. If it goes too slowly, just put it on double speed or just watch the last bits. So where we've got up to so far is that we've got this farmer who wants to have a paddock with all 4 paddocks being greater than 25,000 metres squared. And we've been asked to split that paddock up into 4 like this, and then like this. So what have we got so far? Well, so far we've found out a few things. We've got this angle here, right? So this angle here was 122 point something. And this angle here we've got is 70, and we've just at the end of the video figured out these 2 angles here. We've also worked out this length, and we've worked out the areas of those 2 triangles. And before we did all that, we put on these labels. So these are really important so we can keep track of what's going on. So what I need to do next is I need to find these 2 angles, and then we've already shown that this triangle has an area that's only 42,000 and something, so this is not going to work to do the split up. Okay, so in this video we're going to find those angles, and then we're going to put the line down this way, and we're going to start working instead with triangles A, B and D. Whoop, and it's disappeared. There we go. Right, let's just put that line down there now. And again, we're going to do really careful labeling so that we don't get lost with what we're finding. Okay, so just looking through those calculations, you can see that there's my top angle of ABC. So theta is ABC. And then my next 2 areas, angles that we just found, were angle CAD was 45.8 degrees and angle ACD was 64.2 degrees. Now we need to work with triangle BAC. So now I am doing it without a ruler, and you can see just how bad that looks. Okay, so don't do what I'm saying. This angle in here we already found, and we need these ones. Now we know all of the lengths. This is 563.62 meters. So off we go and get these last 2 angles. So that angle there, so this is ABC. We'll call that one theta and that one phi, or you can call them X and Y. And I want you to pause the video and just work your way through those now, and then I'll do them. Okay, so I can use the sine rule because I know that this angle here is 122.68 degrees, right? So sine of theta, this one paired with this one, sine of theta over 370 is equal to sine of 122.68 degrees over the long side, 563.62. Working that through gives me, so rearranging, we get sine of theta is equal to 370 times over this. So that gives me a number, and then I take the inverse sine of that, and I get theta is equal to 33.54 degrees. Okay, so that's that one found. So that's angle BAC. And I do the same thing. I can do the sine rule again, but the faster way to find phi, which is angle BCA, is to use my Year 9 rule about angles in a triangle. And that gives me an angle of 23.78 degrees. Now, if you're working in a hurry, it's worth stopping and just looking to see if that makes sense, right? And it absolutely does, because here we've got the short side. Oh, I've lost my triangle. Where's it gone? Let's put it back in. But that's fine, right? So this is my short side here, getting up to point B. So imagine that we're taking this line and we're extending it up there. We know that this one, this angle here, has got to be bigger than this angle here, where I'm extending up from here and I'm swooshing the line up to meet at point B. So just make sure you've got a little bit of intuition for whether your answers are right. It's a really good strategy when you're working under pressure. So what can I say now? Well, let's go back to the big diagram. You can see that what we can do now is we can combine those two angles, and we can combine those two. And now that means we're ready to start working with triangles BAD and BCD. So I'm going to be drawing those out next. And I'm sorry, but I have to stop and use a ruler because it's just awful without. So here's this triangle here. So BCD. There. Right, and we know this angle here, right? So we've got BCD, and angle C is equal to, which one's together? Well, it's the 23.8 degree one plus the 64.2 degree one. So that angle is 88 degrees. And we don't know this side yet, but we know that this is 370 meters, and we know that this is 430 meters. Okay, so the area of triangle BCD is equal to half times 370 times 430 times, what have I got, sine of 88 degrees. All of that gives me 79,501.54 meters squared. I'm going to do the same thing now with the other triangle. So we can put in the A bit now. So that's good enough. So this is 270. And this angle here we know was 70. But we now know what this angle here is. Right, so this is angle BAD. So the angle at A is equal to 45.8 degrees plus 33.5 degrees. So that's equal to 79.3. And we know the length of both of those sides. So this one here is the 540. That means we can get the area of this triangle. So area of BAD or ABD is equal to a half times 270 times 540 times sine of 79.3 degrees. And that gives me 71,632 meters squared. So this is good because this is big enough to split into two. And this is also big enough because the paddocks have to be more than 25,000 meters squared each. So now we're going to focus on those two triangles and we're going to find the missing stuff. First obvious thing that I need to find is that diagonal length BD. So I'm going to work with triangle BCD to do this. And again, I'm going to draw that BCD triangle out. So I could have done all this ahead of time and made it into a really slick video. But I guess one of the things I'm trying to show you is that you do have time to do this. If you know what you're doing with your basic skills, then the main things you've got to do is apply them and break the problem down into small parts. And that's why I'm kind of doing it as I go, right, with messy ruler and stuff. Well, that's my argument anyway. Okay, so then we're labeling. So every time you draw a triangle, because you'll be drawing quite a lot of them, make sure you label. So angle BAD we've got, and this one here we know is 88, BCD. So length BD is going to come from the cosine rule. So BD squared is equal to 370 squared plus 430 squared minus 2 times this times cosine of 88 degrees. So BD squared works out to be 310,695. So BD is the square root of that, which gives me 557.4 meters. Okay. Right, so now we're ready to try and split it up. And there are lots of different ways that you could do this. All you have to end up with is 4 paddocks. They don't have to be exactly equal, right? And that's going to make things a little bit easier. So what would be useful to me, though, is to know what is this angle here, and then I can get this one here by 180, or the other way around. So to get this angle here, because I now know this side and this side, I could do this with the sine rule, right? And actually, I probably should have done that because it's usually faster. So there's 88 there, and there's x here. But I'm going to do it with the cosine rule. So using the cosine rule, this is the angle I want. So these are the two angles on the side of it. So cosine of angle B is equal to the two sides around that angle. So here we've got 370 squared plus 557.4 squared minus 430 squared divided by this. That gives me cos of angle B is equal to 0.636873, giving me angle B equal to 50.4 degrees. And that means that angle, the other one, angle D, which we should really call, let's call it with 3 letters CDB, or BDC, angle BDC is equal to 180 minus 88 minus 50.4, which gives me 41.6 degrees. So now we've got that triangle to work with. Let's just look at how we can bang in a fence so that we make 2 paddocks. So here's BCD, like that. That's 370. That's 430. And this whole thing here is 557.4. So I'm just going to put a mark called X here, and I'm going to stick it 300 meters of the way up. And it's not making a right angle triangle or anything nice like that, or it might, but I don't know. And now all I have to do is to find the area of those 2 triangles. So I don't have to go and worry about this angle and this angle. My point is just to show that we've got our 4 paddocks. So we're going to say place X such that dx is equal to 300 meters. So area of triangle C, oops, that's D. I'm going fast now because I've got 2 minutes to finish this. Area of triangle CDX is equal to 1/2 times 300 times 430, and we know this angle in here is 41.6 degrees. Okay, and that gives me an area for that triangle of 42,823.2 meters squared. That means that the BXC area is the whole of that area minus that bit. So we don't need to do all of the working out for the other one. And you can see that we're happy because we've got 2 nice big paddocks for his cows. They're both more than 25,000 meters squared. I've got 1.5 minutes, which is just long enough to do exactly the same thing on the other side. Now, I guess we don't have to have that fence at X, but we might as well keep it there on the other side as well, right? So here's my next triangle. This time, oh, that is so bad. I hope there's no maths teachers watching. Hang on, I can't do that. I have to erase it and fix it, even though I've got like 1 minute left. Okay, but basically, if I do run out of time, guys, what you're going to find here is that you've got 2 more triangles with areas that are nice and big. So you've got happy cows and hopefully happy level 2 trig students as well. There we go. Okay, 50 seconds to finish this off. 270, 540, and we know these angles in here. Oh, and actually we don't know them yet. So this is the angle at D. We've got cos of D is equal to 540 squared plus this length here, 557.4 squared, minus the opposite one over 2 times 540 times 557.4. That gives me 28.4 degrees. I can get the other one, and then the 2 areas work out to be, so I've left a whole lot out in here. Okay, so 38,525.6 meters squared is triangle DAX area, and the other one is 33,106.9